Hey folks, my name's Noah Lynch, and you're listening to the Slawcast.
Down in Arkansas, they serve you coleslaw, chopped up finer than a bale of straw. When you crunch and gnaw, a bunch of coleslaw keeps you chewing.
Hi y'all, welcome back to the Slawcast with your host Noah Lynch. I'm Noah Lynch. I'm the two-time Pulitzer Prize winner in the category of side dish nonfiction, four-time Coleslaw Reviewer of the Year by Time Magazine, 30 Under 30 Coleslaw Media Luminary, and the host of the official #1 coleslaw advice podcast on the internet, the Slawcast. I'd like to apologize first and foremost. Y'all probably know what's coming, but it's been a little while since our last episode, and that's on me, and I take the blame for that. I got busy. I accepted an official position in the Rural King corporate as a official cabbage advisor, and it's really been getting me bogged down with the hours and all the responsibility and the stress involved. I've been in this game for long enough now to know exactly how to advise you on cabbage, but when you make it my job, it turns from a hobby into a job, and it really adds some stress to it. And I guess this will be my official announcement. I officially resigned a couple days ago from Rural King, and it's nothing to do with them, and it's nothing to do with the company itself. I wish them great success in the future, and I hope they find someone that can do better than I could for them, because just to be honest with you, the corporate environment is just not the environment that I was meant to be in, if you want me to be honest with you. And I am really happy to announce that means the Slawcast is going to be back on the top of my to-do list, and we'll have episodes flowing again. And with that in mind, I actually do have a topic for today's episode. I was just talking in conversation with one of my buddies from out in the boonies. His name's Keaton, and he was talking to me. He said, "Hey, I just found the Slawcast. I will listen through a few of the episodes." Of course, he's a big fan. I mean, anyone who listens to this stuff would be a big fan, and that's just me tooting my own horn a little bit right there. But he asked me, and he came to me, and this was sincere as well. He says, I've never tried coleslaw, and I'm really wondering, what it tastes like. What should I expect going into my first coleslaw experience? And folks, this is somewhere where honestly I might have failed you in the past. I mean, a lot of you that are part of the community are fans of coleslaw, as am I. But what we have to remember as the coleslaw community is we have to be outreaching to the younger generations, the people that aren't exposed to coleslaw as much as we were growing up. And this is one of the side effects. Keaton has never in his life tried any coleslaw whatsoever, and he's scared going into it, and I don't blame him, and that's partly my fault. That's I'll take a majority of the blame for that, because I kind of jumped ahead at the beginning of the Slawcast. Really, I should have been reaching out to those beginners and explaining what to expect on your first coleslaw. So I'm just going to go through it with you real quick. Speaking somewhat directly to Keaton, but also to anybody who's listening right now and who has never tried coleslaw. The first thing I would tell you, and this does get into a bit of life advice too, but so take this with a grain of salt. I am not a life expert. I am a coleslaw expert, but new experiences in life can only be good, even if you don't love coleslaw as much as I do and as much as our community does. The experience of figuring something new out is well worth the time investment, even if you hate it, because think about it, you could love it, but you don't want to go to your grave not knowing. Heaven forbid anybody go to their grave not knowing what coleslaw tastes like. I mean, I can't even imagine that. That is just a nightmarish scenario in my opinion. So Keaton, or anybody out there who's worried about trying something new, not everything is going to be as daunting as coleslaw. Coleslaw is a big jump. I maybe start first at introducing yourself into some milder side salads. Go with a chef salad at first, then add in some cherry tomatoes into that chef salad, and then maybe you go to a Caesar salad, and then maybe you go to a coleslaw. make little jumps if that's the way you got to do it. Maybe you jump into the deep end, just like when you're learning to swim. It's sink or swim. And not literally. I mean, most of the time when someone throws you into the deep end, when you're learning how to swim, I'm here to tell you, if you start sinking, someone's going to jump in there and save you. And the same is true with coleslaw. If you are out with me and it's your first time trying coleslaw and you're not into it, okay, take your couple bites. Okay, you don't like it, pass it off to me. I will finish it for you. Lord knows I'll eat as much coleslaw as I can fit in my stomach. So that would definitely be the first part of my advice is just whatever your process is for trying a new thing. I think it's a good idea just to go out there and try new things. Maybe you take little stepping stones up to it, or maybe you just whole hog it right off the bat. Whatever your process is, I go for it. Now, as far as what you actually should be expecting when you're trying your first slaw, simply put, magic. However, if you want me to get into the actual science of it, the biology, most of the time you're dealing with a certain amount of cabbage, a certain amount of mayonnaise, whether that be real mayonnaise, which is what I prefer, or maybe even some of the fake mayonnaise. But those are your two staples, especially when you're talking about creamy slaw, and that's probably what I will start with today, just explaining that, and maybe in the future we can go into some more exotic slaws. But because in my first episode I do believe that I advise beginners to go with a creamy slaw, that's what I'm going to explain to you today. So a certain amount of cabbage, certain amount of mayo, and mayo does stand for mayonnaise. If you're new, and you'll catch up on the lingo being involved in the slaw community, but a certain amount of shredded carrots, certain amount of other vegetables. But really, the main flavors you're going to be encountering are the mayonnaise and the cabbage, and that's really what you should expect. So think to yourself, Keaton, or any new beginner, think to yourself, hey, do I like mayonnaise? If the answer is yes, okay, move on. Do I like cabbage? Okay. If the answer is yes, okay, move on. You probably like slaw. It is a simple food, and that's part of the magic of it. When you take something like the Slawcast, this is a simple show, but that means there's no way to explain the magic behind the community. Even me, myself, I couldn't explain it to you if I wanted to. Coleslaw's the same way, man. It's a magical thing. I kind of equate it to something like a miracle. It really is kind of a miracle food. And I will be honest with you, not in the way that most people say miracle food, because when you're talking about that, usually you're talking about some kind of weight loss thing. And coleslaw is not going to be a good option for you if you're trying to lose weight. I'll be honest with you, because here's the number one problem. Number one problem is once you start going, you're not going to be able to stop until the coleslaw on the table's completely gone and missing. Not magic in that way, but magic in the way that the flavor is just unexplained by science. They do studies on coleslaw. They try and figure out what makes it so good. There's scientists all over the world being paid millions and millions and millions of dollars to try and figure out. Governments want the secret to this to make people happier, and they can't figure it out. And I'll be the first to tell you, as the premier coleslaw expert in the industry, I don't think it ever will be figured out. And you can call me a traditionalist or whatever, but part of the reason that coleslaw is so great is that you just cannot explain the experience while eating it. So, that's my second piece of advice is, if you like mayonnaise and you like cabbage, that's a good start for knowing that coleslaw is going to be the right thing for you. And also remember what I said first of all, just go out and try it. Jump into the deep end every once in a while. So Keaton, thank you for coming to me and asking me that question. And anyone who's new to the coleslaw world and listening to the Slawcast, I applaud you for reaching out and researching something that you aren't completely comfortable with yourself. It is June. I'd like to say happy Pride Month to all. Y'all enjoy your rainbow colored coleslaws. We're going to get back into the swing of things, folks. So if you got questions, ask me, whether that be on the street, to my own phone, or to the email, or to my Facebook, whatever it be. Ask me questions and I'll answer them. We are the premier coleslaw advice podcast on the internet. So any questions that need to be answered right here on the Slawcast. That was the Slawcast, folks. I'm Noah Lynch. Until next time, I'll slaw you later.
No bread, no meat, no potatoes, and nothing that's sweet. All I want is a lot of coleslaw.